They have Philly -3. The over/under is 43. What say Jesse? Philly Bucks.
Over under is what?
43.
So the problem is that AJ Brown. Oh, you're kidding me. This thing just cut off.
Oh,
Yeah, let me go ahead and let me just readjust this. I'm just gonna put it down here. Whatever.
AJ Brown is out.
Stands. Yeah,
I'll keep
my
going.
stands
AJ Brown's out of the game. He's not playing. So they have Swift in the backfield.
Let's see if this even works. Kind of, sort of. There we go. That'll work. Now you get to see all my swag behind me.
Ah, beautiful. Oh, it's very good swag. Very good.
I mean, I do have one thing in common with a lot of sports fans is I do like to collect.
What is your most, real quick before we go on that, what is your most prized possession that you have? Sports-wise. Sports, memorabilia, fan, that kind of thing.
Man, that's a tough one because I do have quite a bit of stuff that I do appreciate more than others. I'm probably going to have to say that it is my 93-94 NHL New York Rangers autograph collection. So every player that was on that team, I have something signed from. So that way I have a collection of autographed cards, pucks, hockey stick, and mask from the entire 93-94 Stanley Cup Championship New York Rangers hockey team.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I am a huge Rangers fan, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
what do you think? Okay, Philly -3, over under 43. What do you think, bud?
So, man, I was 100% behind the Eagles to pull this game out because Tampa Bay's been having some problems lately. And again, it's nothing against Tampa Bay.
No, they have not looked good at all. Yep, absolutely.
And part of me wants Tampa Bay to win the game because I'm an Arizona State alum. Love the Sun Devils. Rashad White is the running back. He is the bell cow for that backfield. It's basically been like 93-94% him for the entire season, minus a couple of games with like Chase Edmonds sprinkled in there. And I really want him to show up and show out on, basically national TV. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have not been like they usually have been. Evans a little bit more throughout the season, but definitely not who they were when you had Brady. Baker has definitely been a better quarterback than advertised. A lot of people probably felt like he was probably done, but he still showed that he can play. He still had great numbers. He was on par with Jalen Hurts for touchdowns, tossing, not rushing, because that's a whole nother world. Yep. Another quarterback that he was compared to as far as being in the conference, interception-wise with him and Dak Prescott, but they were about the same as well. So his numbers haven't been great, but they've been good enough to get them through the games that they needed to win. Honestly, though, the kicker's the one that's been winning it more than anything lately. But, I mean, Tampa's got things going for it, but more importantly, they're healthy. And, I mean, Jalen Hurts, who knows what's going on with his hand? I know he's not on an injury report, and I don't think they would.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing him, get hit and then holding his hand, and it was all weird and everything. And it's just
limping
okay.
Last week against the Panthers. Bad. Very bad.
AJ Brown's out. So now you're looking at Devonta Smith, and Devonta Smith is a great receiver. He's not a number one, though. He doesn't play that position. Julio Jones plays that position, but Julio Jones is old. And it's crazy to say that a receiver that was that good, that was an identity for the Atlanta Falcons, is, and I mean, he had a great game. he's starting to get touchdowns. He's starting to get into the system, and it takes a while for people to warm up in timing to get that cohesion necessary. You don't just plug and play players like you do in Madden. Like I traded for this guy, I've now got a 98. He's going to play like a
Yeah,
98. That's not how the real
yeah,
world works. Um, so I don't know if Julio is going to be the person to step up, or if they're going to like lean towards Quez Watkins, or is this going to be a Dallas Goddard game? And it very well could be. Um, their offensive line, I, the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is superior to Tampa Bay's.
absolutely.
It is
Yep.
what it is what it is. So DeAndre Swift has the chance of having a great game. So I think it comes down to the Eagles defense versus the Bucks offense, and that's where it's going to end up.
Okay.
Brandon Graham is kind of on the other side of his career. Fletcher Cox is kind of on the other side of his career. Hassan Reddick has been noticeable this season. Like he definitely wasn't at the same level as he was last season. They've got my man crush, Shaquille Leonard, on the team, which is so exciting for me. But at the same time, he hasn't done anything since he got on the team. His
Yeah.
back injury that he sustained has been it's been enough to basically put an anchor around his waist. He is not moving with the acceleration he did before. He's not as instinctive as he was towards the play. So we're looking at a great secondary. Darius Slay, Reed Blankenship. Blankenship has been huge. Now, I mean,
Yes.
their secondary between those guys, between Bradbury, they're gonna be able to play on Tampa Bay on their receivers because I don't know. Evans just feels like he doesn't have any more separation to him. Not to
He
say that,
doesn't.
yeah, he's lost his step. I feel like he's kind of phoned it in this year because he said that he wasn't going to talk about contracts. He basically wants to become a free agent.
Yeah, well, because
Um,
the Bucks, the Bucks stopped, wouldn't offer him anything. I think. Well, I'll let you keep going, and I'll give you my opinion. Keep going, bud.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I
Okay.
totally agree.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I feel like they lucked into and fell into the
The
postseason.
playoff. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
when the intention might have been like, I'm not going to put in that effort. So we're looking at Tristan Wirfs is a great left tackle,
God, he's
and I
amazing.
think he'll hold his own. Yeah, but the rest of the line is kind of suspect. And
Well,
while
yeah,
Philadelphia's defensive line is kind of old, I feel like they match up better, and I feel like the wide receivers and the secondary matchup in favor of Philadelphia. I don't really feel like Cade Otton is a great tight end that's going to make you have to scheme around. I
yep,
think either Rashad White has a great game and they throw the team on his back, and Baker makes a couple of necessary plays to Evans and Godwin, or they get 3 field goals and they lose this game like 24-9. I feel like it's a 17-14 or 24-9. I feel like it's those two windows. And I think even though AJ Brown is out this game, that Philadelphia still has plenty more tools as long as they're healthy. And I feel like that's too much. Now, don't get me wrong. I 100% want the Bucks to win this game. um, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make that switch yet. I'm probably going to hold off on because right now I do have the Eagles. But I'm going to hold off to just before the game kicks off for me to make that decision on whether or not I'm going to stick with them. Because I
So,
mean,
I'm a diehard Bucks fan. I believe the Bucks, but I would say I agree totally. We lucked into the playoffs because our division is so weak. Um, I think Todd Bowles secured himself, another year as a coach. But I totally agree. I don't think our offensive line is good enough. Tristan Wirfs is awesome, but he's got some aches. We don't have Jetson as a center. He's hurt. Auden as a tight end has not been as good. And I really think Mike Evans, there's some of the plays you see, like, I don't think he's really putting out because, again, contract. Like, the Bucks said, we're not going to pay you what you want. And so his agent was like, nope, we're not going to talk to you the rest of the year. And he doesn't want to get hurt. I don't blame him. He's got so many years over 1,000 yards. Like, again, blows my mind. Godwin is he's getting beat up. He's always in the slot. Even though on our picks, I'd pick the Bucks because I've never picked against my Bucks. If I was betting, I'd have Philly by 14 on this one. But I totally agree. I think no matter what, Philly offensively has way more weapons than what we do, no matter who's in, who's out. And they have Swift in the backfield. Swift has consistently been a great running back, pass blocker, receiver, check down. Jalen Hurts is great, being mobile, and his line is superior to our defense. Like I would say, like we might get a couple of good plays, like some lucky plays, but offensively, we're not there. We have some building to do, which I think we could do, but I don't know, man. And our secondary has been some games we show up, some games we don't show up. Some games we show up, some games we don't. So, I think back to Houston, we played Houston. Stroud had his 575 yards, 5 touchdowns, I think, like set a record as a rookie against our secondary, who was supposed to be top in the league. And so, no, I agree, man. I'm happy to see Baker do good, get the bonus. I hope they sign to a long-term deal. I hope the Bucks look and say, hey, we need to sign Mike Evans. Like we have to sign him. We cannot let him go in free agency. Um, Godwin, I mean, again, I think he's consistent. Our secondary defense, you have White, which we had a problem with him. They benched him. He was a healthy scratch 2 weeks ago. I don't really know what's going on with that. You have David, who's always consistent. He had I think it was an ankle injury, but I do agree, man. I do think that the Eagles are going to beat us. I'm happy we made it, but even if we beat the Eagles, like, let's say by some far up chance we beat the Eagles, we would not make it into the playoffs, man. We're just not that team. We don't have the build. You know what I'm saying?